All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us today for our webinar with Chaplain Colonel Tony Petros. He is the Senior Command Chaplain for Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and the 101st Airborne Division. We're going to get started here, and we've got a great conversation we're going to have. Got a lot of questions. He's got a special event that he's going to announce here for us in just a little bit after he tells us a little bit about himself. So if this is the first time that you've been to one of our webinars, here's how this kind of goes. We're going to have a conversation. I got a lot of questions for him. If you have questions about the U.S. Army Chaplain Corps, if you have questions about the process, how you become an Army chaplain, or just any question that you would like answered, if you would put in the chat, you can type in those questions. Anything that you've got, and we will try to get to as many questions as possible. We'll have a question and answer time here at the end. We also have several of our recruiters that are logged on this morning, and if you have specific questions, please feel free to put those in there, and one of our folks will jump in and try to answer those questions for you. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, this morning, we're very blessed to have Chaplain Colonel Tony Petros with us. As I said, he is the Senior Command Chaplain for Fort Campbell and for the 101st Airborne Division. Chaplain Petros is a graduate of Liberty University. He is also endorsed through the Liberty Baptist Fellowship. And in addition to his education as a pastor, he has several other degrees. He has a degree in community counseling. He has a master's in strategic studies from U.S. Army War College. Chaplain Petros has been around the Chaplain Corps for quite a while. He's had some great assignments that we'll let you tell him a little bit, or I'll let him tell you a little bit more about here in just a few minutes. He's been deployed multiple times. He's served in special operations. He's served at Garrison. He has served in some awesome places. So we are very grateful to have him here with us this morning. Chaplain Petros, thank you so much. As we look at your screen, could you tell us just real quick, where are you?
Yes. Hey, it's so great to have all the viewers here, and I appreciate very much Chaplain McCraney for setting this up. So this location is a very special place here at Fort Campbell. It's the Sabalewski Air Assault School. And those viewers, you'll probably hear some highly motivated air assault students that are kind of coming back through. Every time they pass through the arches, they have to stand attention and say air assault as loud as they can. But we actually even have, I think, 2 chaplains. I know definitely for sure one that's going through this current class of air assault school. But I really wanted this webinar to take place here because it's such a significant location and be able to help emphasize the Army environment that future Army chaplain candidates and chaplains would have the opportunity to be able to be a part of if you felt the Lord's leading you that direction to come here and serve in this capacity.
Awesome, sir. Well, we look forward to the background noise. It should be pretty interesting. Well, sir, can you tell us a little bit about, tell us your story. Tell us how you ended up in the Chaplain Corps. Tell us sort of this journey that you took to become an Army chaplain.
Yes, definitely. Growing up, I grew up in the Northern Virginia area, so I was kind of surrounded by a heavy military environment, senior leadership level wise. In that location, our home church always heavily high attendance of military families attending there. So I had a large appreciation, just huge appreciation growing up for the military. And believe it or not, I first thought about being a pilot for many years, but felt the Lord lead me in a different direction once I started undergrad. I first felt the call to ministry, started studying for pastoral ministries and youth ministries degree there at Liberty University. And it wasn't until that last semester of college, I had that life-changing conversation that I didn't know was coming my way with someone that was still currently serving as an Army chaplain. And he was a close friend of the family's. And as soon as he introduced me to the Army chaplaincy, I knew right away that this was it. I was engaged at the time to Tricia, my wife of 26 years. And I remember giving her a phone call before that last semester of college and saying, hey, I'm seriously thinking about the Army chaplaincy. And I think all she heard was Army. She was like, what do you mean Army? What is this all about? And I was like, well, no, it's serving as a pastor or chaplain, in the chaplain position for the United States Army. And so that was the starting point for us. And we, it was amazing. I really didn't have plans right away at that time to go directly back in the seminary. So obviously that was a first step with the change of course with our plans, and to start working on my seminary degree, my Master of Divinity. And there really wasn't any doubt at all once we were at that turning point that this is the direction that the Lord was leading us. It was so crystal clear, and we've been so fortunate to have been led that direction and to respond to that calling. It's been such a huge blessing for us and such an exciting ministry to be a part of.
Very awesome. So out of Northern Virginia area, whereabouts?
Springfield. So Springfield, Virginia, and Emmanuel Bible Church, right there on the popular intersections of Backcliff and Braddock.
Very familiar with that. I'm from Alexandria. So
okay, actually great.
So you experienced this call to ministry, to the Army chaplaincy. So as you were experiencing this, how was God moving in your life through that process?
I felt like there was many different things, even with mentors that I was circulated around with, especially more so, like I stated, with that, a lot of senior leadership, especially some godly Christian leaders that was in contact with there at Emmanuel Bible Church. Colonel retired Vernon Sones definitely one to come to mind, and Chaplain Colonel Tim Tatum, who was still active at that time and of course now retired. But definitely many different helpful individuals. I felt like the Lord was circulating Trish and I around with, not only for the green suitor side, but even for the spouse side. Individuals that really helped shape things for us initially. Straightforward told us, hey, this is what's going to be like. She could still clearly recall that there was nothing sugar coated with some of the time that definitely will be spent away from this family with deployments, training, those kind of things. And I think the first sit down we had with Chaplain Tatum on that, just some of the initial topics and just for that career path for us, this is what's going to be like. And he did. He spoke from the heart and spoke some of the challenges that will exist, but then at the same time, the huge and significant opportunity that Army chaplains have with being placed into a unit, to be that spiritual leader, to help bring stability and bring Christ to the lives of soldiers and family members that you're with on a regular basis. So just definitely it was looking back on that, it's amazing just how many instrumental people were placed there for us at those early stages to really help give us understanding, awareness of what to expect and how to prepare for those next steps forward.
So when I hear that, I'm looking at some of the names of the folks that we have signed into this call. Of course, there's many more watching on Facebook Live right now, but we have people in the process. We have people that are applicants, people that are chaplain candidates. I think we probably even have an endorser or two on here, actually. But for a lot of our folks that are pursuing this call to the Chaplain Corps, they wonder about how they know that this is the right thing. So I was wondering, can you tell us, is there a point, a time, an incident where you felt that God just really confirmed this for you, that this is what you should be doing?
I think a lot, like I stated, that huge admiration for the military that I had earlier on, and then feeling that call to ministry. We had everything go in that direction towards ministry purposes. And then once that introduction, and hopefully this might serve as that introduction for some today, for what the chaplaincy is, what it consists of. That's where it all brought together for us. It was amazing how much it confirmed and brought to, and really just to our attention of, this is exactly where God wants us to serve. And it's the environment piece. And that's why I really wanted this to be filmed here today, because the environment is such a significant aspect for the Army chaplaincy. With where you're at, you can probably see some, I can see some in the back over my left shoulder, some of the students there returning. Being a part of a group like that, no matter what course you're going through, or even it's a deployment or a training event, it's amazing how quickly you come to know, and the commonality you have with soldiers right away as a chaplain. You're part of that team. You're part of that group. And no matter what it is that's before you all, whether it be a task or mission or a challenging course like this that they're going through, they're all in it together, and the bond and the camaraderie and the team support that you have right away, it's instantaneous, and that's such a neat part of the chaplain's role. And combined with that, you have the chance to be able to minister to them and to bring spiritual direction to them and really help out substantially with the relationship with the Lord. So it's just I guess seeing all those things, that's where I really felt like, that's what I want to do when I was first introduced to it. And it just, it was a very just on the spot, confirmation. I knew 100% this is what the Lord wants me to do from this point forward with my life.
Awesome. Well, so you've had a lot of great experiences. You've had a lot of great assignments, it looks like, as we look through your bio and all the different units that you've been a part of. I won't mention the other Airborne division because there's
that's right.
There. But
this one here.
You've had some great assignments. Could you tell us what's been your favorite assignment?
It's and I'll respond with my most unique was in Japan. We've had so many favorite assignments, and like you said, the Petros family as a whole, we feel extremely blessed with the locations that the Army has taken us to and where the Lord has used us for His purpose and ministry. But the assignment in Japan was such an incredible experience for the whole family, and even ministry and position wise, with being able to work with the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force, with our soldiers that were spread out in many different pockets across Honshu, Japan, then also down to Okinawa. Just the diversity level, the multiple things incorporated for that type of assignment was definitely the most unique, and especially on that, the other side of the globe, for us to be able to experience the culture, be able to see and experience so much that we would never have had the chance if it hadn't been that assignment to come our direction. The favorite, we kind of do lean towards the hardest place our family ever did have to leave was there in the Panhandle of Florida when we were with 7th Group. And obviously, very few locations like that the Army has on the coastline, unless you go to Okinawa. If your family loves the beach, that's a great one to seek after if the door opens up for it. And but even that following on assignment after that position, it was funny. Some of my unit I was serving with, they thought I'd made someone upset with me was getting sent up to Fort Drum, New York after being on the Panhandle of Florida. They're like, who'd you make upset, Chaplain? Yeah. And but to be in the division chaplain, the 10th Mountain Division, was just an incredible honor. Something that we really didn't see coming our direction at all. And such a huge opportunity to grow and be able to mentor, be part of ministry efforts there for that division, and a significant time frame. Every single one of the brigades deployed during that window of 2013 to 2015 to include division headquarters. So it was a busy time. At the same time, also, and many different needs that, of course, just religious support wise and for families going through, still in the midst of the heavy deployment rotation and cycle. So we've been blessed. We've been blessed with many great favorites. To include this one here at Fort Campbell. We've been here for 1 year now, and it's been a huge blessing for us. We've didn't know it was going to come either at first. Thankfully, with some additional discussions, it worked out to our favor. We really wanted to be closer to family for one, and I knew a lot what this position consists of and this installation. So it really is. It was just so great to be part for this first year, and we really hope it continues for a while. We really do, for us to be able to stay here longer.
Very nice. So you've had some great assignments. Have you had any unique challenges along the way?
I'd say with unique challenges, as what many of the viewers probably would expect. I know there's always a lot of concern towards those deployments, towards the time away. And it's amazing how the Lord he he allows you to be able to see and experience one at a time. And he gives you the ability to get through one at a time. I know if we would have been told up front, I would have had, 4 deployments to Afghanistan and once to Iraq. It might have been too overwhelming to digest up front. But he was faithful without a doubt. The Lord was faithful to get us through each and every one. So much towards the last one I had in Afghanistan. I was praying for endurance before I even left, because I knew that I was going to need his endurance that he could provide me going into another long time frame there at Bagram with the division headquarters. And there's really ministry wise and just be able to be incorporated within your unit. There's really no challenges in that degree. The door is so wide open for chaplains and religious affairs specialists to be involved in your organization. I've only had like maybe 1 or 2 commanders through 24 years where I had to do more convincing. Hey, this is what else we can provide. And sometimes that's, just for just their own benefit. Maybe they haven't had as many chaplains be able to see what a unit ministry team can provide to the organization. But other than that, those 2 times that took a little more maybe promotion and just advising of, hey, this is what we can provide, and this is, I think, the benefits that will come from it. There's no challenges in that area for your involvement as the chaplain, as a spiritual leader, to be integrated within the team. It can consist of from obviously the simplistic training meetings to be part of that take place on a regular basis to the most elaborate field exercise, and you having a critical role from the starting point all the way till the end with that organization. And so definitely the opportunity is wide open for chaplains still today to be involved in that kind of way.
So when we look at what you do right there, so now you mentioned before that you had been a division chaplain, but you are currently not only the division chaplain, but you're the senior command chaplain. Can you kind of explain that? Because if I'm correct, that's kind of a newer concept. So tell us kind of what you do for the Chaplain Corps right there, and kind of the scope of that position.
Yes, in a unique role of this position, and Chaplain Eric Leach, he actually serves as the division chaplain for the 101st. And then we have a garrison chaplain too that recently just signed in, and Chaplain James Lester too as well. And then my position is the command chaplain for Fort Campbell. It's over both those positions, and primarily supervising the 62 unit ministry teams that we have here at Fort Campbell. And then and I think it works out well. And I think Chaplain Leach, he would say the same thing too with my past experience as a division chaplain with 10th Mountain, to be just a helpful individual to different concerns that might possibly come up, or additional direction or insight from past experience to be able to apply to the current situation we have here at Campbell with whatever is on their plate or what's come around the corner for them. We have 4 main chapels, 4 chapels here on Fort Campbell that are very active with worship programs, auxiliary groups, and services on a regular basis. So there's more than what I expected, more effort and energy that goes towards that religious support side. I think sometimes maybe Garrison might get a bad rep, like, okay, what do they do? I tell you, I'll speak the truth to everyone, all the viewers today. It is amazing how much is on the plate for Garrison with the newer services that they have, resources that they're always really leveraging during a resource constraint environment right now too, especially that's going to help supply and really enable the ministry within those services on a regular basis. The first time I sat in with all of our senior pastors, our designated faith group leaders, and our sponsors for all of our auxiliary groups here at Fort Campbell, I was blown away with how big the team was. We had close to about 65 that were in there, and some of them were spouses too as well. They're serving as faith group leaders or a sponsor for different groups. But just seeing the efforts just for Fort Campbell alone for religious support, it just blows you away. Just being able to see how much is done on a regular basis for the community in that capacity. And so I like also trying to see, okay, where could be some gaps in ministry with that, even with all that taking place, where we can put some more efforts. And that's where Trish and I really enjoy inserting ourselves or spearheading maybe new purpose or direction. We've done some things with deployed spouses groups for about 9 months here throughout 3 different brigade deployments, which we saw were very beneficial in the past, open up additional ministry opportunities. And then also with single soldier ministry too as well. I've really enjoyed, and there's a lot more that can be done. Some things on a quarterly basis, and even some simple just morning PT events with our CAL-SU replacement unit that has up to 400 soldiers that are in processing here on certain weeks. So to me, I look at that as a great opportunity for me, even in my position, to introduce myself, to get them to be able to meet, chaplain here at Fort Campbell right away, and hopefully be able to encourage them as soon as they get to their assigned unit, which is just days away. It could be like 8 or 9 days away from that time that I meet them, for them to seek their unit ministry team, find out what they have to offer to them, and how they can really benefit with getting to know their chaplain and their really support assistant, specialist that's there in their organization.
So you mentioned this a couple times, and like I said, we've got a kind of a diverse group. So UMT is a chaplain and a religious affairs specialist, and you make it really interesting. I didn't realize that there's 62 UMTs that serve under you at Fort Campbell.
We have 62 here at Fort Campbell. There you go. That's our class motto. This is perfect. This is what I want everyone to hear, this kind of stuff. This is awesome. Oh, now they're going to sing the song.
And they're doing that so you know that you're recording, right?
Yes. So they always have to sound off with the 101st Airborne Division song, even if they're from some other installation. They've got to learn the song because they're here at Fort Campbell, and then they'll sing the Army song chorus too. And then on graduation day, this takes place right here in front of me, they'll sing through both those again. But you said with the unit ministry teams, we have 62 that are here at Fort Campbell.
One thing that might be different for a lot of our folks that are coming from civilian is the idea that you have support from other clergy members that you're working with, right? So you've got maybe in a small town, you may have 4 or 5 other pastors or clergy members in the town. You may or may not have a relationship with them, but in the Army Chaplain Corps, it's a little bit different. Could you speak to that a little bit and what that looks like kind of for folks that may not be familiar with it?
There is a great effort from the Clarksville area, Clarksville community with pastors that are involved here. And it's incredible. It's just great seeing the support that we still receive from them on a regular basis, things that they want to contribute towards the ministry. Sometimes it might even be them just paying for a lunch for a group of our chaplains and provide encouragement, personal encouragement to them. That means so much. We definitely communicate back to them how significant that is and what encouragement brings to them, that they're thinking of us and that they want to, invest their time and their resources into us that kind of way. But there is, with us being able to be aware of what other ministries are right outside the gate, that helps a lot too, just with building bridges and really be able to provide great information to soldiers and families both for what else is available for them too as well, for their family to be connected to. Recently here in Clarksville, especially since you brought it up, they had the National Day of Prayer event in this downtown city of Clarksville. Chaplain Bill Graham, who's a retired reserve chaplain, still lives in this area. He invited me to speak for it, and I was excited about it. But what I didn't see coming, it was such a substantial opportunity for me to be able to speak there in the city of Clarksville and be a part of the leadership in this community that was so God-centered in their life through the prayers that they were mentioning. And it was just incredibly encouraging for me to be a part of, to be able to speak and provide a message on prayer course for the National Day Prayer event for an outside venue right there in front of the courthouse in Clarksville. So it was, it's a neat thing that, I'm not sure if every single community, if you're gonna be able to experience something like that at installations that you're at, but it is substantial here and something that we really appreciate to be a part of.
And even if they don't have a lot of that, you have within those 62 UMTs, they have a lot of community, which may be different from our civilian folks as well.
I do. It's true. Very true. And that's one thing that, the Chaplain Corps, we were talking about this recently, the division chaplain, myself, about handling farewells. And this is one of the few branches, I don't know, I almost willing to say the only branch that we go, I feel like, and we've all experienced this, Chaplain Leach and I both have, we've seen how, as a Corps, Chaplain Corps at the installation, go the extra step for recognizing new families, new chaplains and religious specialists that are new to the community at the installation, and when they depart too as well. So they'll receive, that welcome and hail and farewell from them, from their organization, but also as a Chaplain Corps too. And there's a lot of great benefit from that, from the strength of the team as a whole. And I think it really expands upon, if there are some challenges or struggles that someone's going through, they're going to be quicker to ask someone that they have a relationship with, another UNISRI team member, and be able to find out, okay, hey, I'm going through this right now. Have you experienced this too? And most likely they probably have, or maybe a program idea or ministry idea that worked really well at a location. And so definitely, the strong camaraderie is significant, but also I think with maybe leveraging and enhancing just the overall ministry product, it comes a lot from that, definitely.
So as you've been in the Chaplain Corps for quite a while now, and you've seen where we've been, could you give us an idea of where you see the Corps going in the future? Do you see any changes coming that maybe on the horizon, or maybe changes to the way that we do ministry? What do you think on that?
The one of the things first come to my mind, I had an XO that gave me an old field manual of religious support for many years back, and it was very interesting to me. There was even a watermelon ministry, yes, you heard me correct, that was communicated in this field manual, and it was so hilarious to me because there at Fort Bragg with my battalion religious affairs specialist, Sergeant Brambilla, we actually did that with taking cold watermelons to a range when they're actually, you could hear some small arms going off in a range nearby here, and then doing a service afterwards. So some things, it's neat how they've stayed the same with continually staying the same type of ministry, and the support we still have from commanders to today. I don't see too many things changing much. I really don't. I see those opportunities of ministry, commanders recognizing how critical support is and what UNISRI teams provide to the organization. And really, it's something that we can do. Some of the concerns, some of the needs that are met. So that's beneficial for us, for being placed in an organization, building up those relationships and having those opportunities to serve in that type of role that I think only chaplains, religious affairs specialists can serve in. Something that comes from the confidentiality that we have to as well, that they can trust within us, whether it be a chaplain or a religious affairs specialist. And that's a substantial foundational point for them to feel safe, to come with some tough concerns that individuals are carrying, and to know that it's going to be kept confidential, and hopefully it'll continue to lead towards working through the challenges that they're facing through that deep-rooted trust that they have within us.
So in just a few seconds, we're going to go into an event that's being planned here for Fort Campbell, but I want to just emphasize to everybody that is watching, both here and on Facebook, if you have questions, please type it in the chat, and at the end we'll ask Chaplain Petros some questions. We'll try not to stump him. And So if you have questions, things in mind, please go ahead and start putting those things down in the chat. We'd appreciate it. So as I mentioned, there is an event coming up, and it is a special event that is being hosted by Fort Campbell through your office in September. Can you kind of give us an overview of what that is, what it's going to look like?
Yes, I'm very excited about that. It's going to be a great event to be able to have someone that's just starting to consider the Army chaplaincy, or maybe just hearing it for the first time today. If you want to be able to kind of learn more about it, to see what it consists of, that's what this day is going to provide you. So on the morning during PT, so we'll have physical training in the morning, and we're going to set it up to where you can see what some of the new Army combat fitness test events will consist of. It's going to be obviously at your own pace. If there's some things that if you're just not able to do, no worries whatsoever. This is just orientation, and then it's going to lead into a breakfast time frame with the devotional, a question and answer time frame with some of our senior leader UMT members here at Fort Campbell, for you to hear more just specifics about our roles, what we provide on a regular basis here at Fort Campbell, and different questions you might have for us. Family members are invited to as well. We think that's so important for every ministry team member that I've seen, that their family was all in for the ministry and for the opportunity to be able to serve, at least substantially. And I think even that supports, especially if it is a deployment or a training environment, training exercise you're going through, it's so critical. So definitely the family, we feel like it's very important for the families to be able to develop understanding too as well. This is what the Army context is like. Be able to meet some of our spouses too as well. And then they'll have a chance to be able to interact with some of our junior chaplains or captains and maybe even first lieutenants, be able to hear specifically what they're involved in on a day-to-day basis, and just be able to hear, this is what your position is going to be like as soon as you step foot into your organization on active duty. And then here at the Sabaluski Air Assault School, it's right behind me. We'll conclude that day with a chance for everyone that's attending to be able to rappel off that wall right there. We've already coordinated that with the school. So even if you're afraid of heights, we'll help you out. We'll get you through it. I even had a chaplain assistant one time that was afraid of heights, and he was airborne qualified, did every jump with me. I don't know how he did it. I don't know if he just closed his eyes on that part with, it was funny when I first found that out, and we'd already done a few jumps together. I did not know he was that afraid of heights. But seeing this here too as well, and be able to kind of experience a little bit here at the Air Assault School. Maybe by chance they might be doing a air assault, a fast rope rappel or rappel out of Chinook, possibly. It's just kind of timing wise. They might be able to see that too as well. And but from start to finish, it's going to provide a great understanding and definitely a solid perspective of what you could expect if you were to feel led by the Lord to pursue this as a career.
And so what date is that going to happen?
It's on the 2nd of September, so just before Labor Day weekend. We're going to try visiting a few more schools as soon as the schools start back up, nearby colleges and seminaries, to help promote it a little bit more. And but I think it's perfect for anyone's currently attending college and feeling the call to ministry and possibly considering the Army chaplaincy for a career. But yes, the whole day on the 2nd of September.
So a question that I've had come up a couple times is our chaplain candidates that are already in, they've already been assessed as second lieutenants and are going through that candidate program. Are they able to come?
Yes, I definitely encourage, and they are just as welcome to attend, without a doubt. I think it's a great experience. There's just so much learning, and the more that you can gain during that stage before you hit the ground as the chaplain for that assigned organization, because people understand there's always some learning and growing along the way as soon as you hit the ground, but to a certain degree they expect you to be ready and be able to perform all of the responsibilities and different to meet the expectation for that position. So the more you're able to digest and take in during this time frame, as a chaplain candidate, it's going to be very helpful for you, and you'll definitely be able to benefit and learn a lot during that time frame too as well.
So I know that we do end up getting a lot of questions from spouses. I know that my wife has talked to quite a few prospective Army chaplain spouses. Sometimes they have questions that we don't think about. So you mentioned that the spouses are invited. Could you give a little bit more on what's kind of lined up for them?
We'll have for the spouses, some of our senior chaplain spouses that are here, and I think at least 2 religious affairs spouses too as well. We even have one that's currently serving as in a command sergeant major position, and I'm pretty sure she's already committed to being there too as well, to be able to speak to spouses, to be able to provide her perspective over really 20-some years of being involved in this capacity. It'll be obviously a question and answer time frame for them, and then even chance to be able for small groups. This way, maybe some questions that they want a little more privacy to be able to seek answers and advice on. They'll have the opportunity to as well to be able to hear on a one-on-one conversation type format, to be able to have some of those questions addressed, and just to be able to develop some maybe more comfortable position towards what it consists of. And I think some of the most common concerns is, well, what about our kids? With kids having to adjust. Trish and I both, we grew up in the same hometown for pretty much, all through high school. We were different hometowns. She was in Pennsylvania, I was in Northern Virginia, but that's what we were familiar with. I know we were kind of concerned about that too initially, but we have shared this with many, many families. Your kids, they will, for what we've seen, they grow to enjoy it and appreciate it so much. They love the variety. There are some challenges with sports. If they're heavily involved in sports during high school, you feel the transition a little bit more. If they're transitioning during high school time frame, if you were the number 1 seed on the team, you move, not going to automatically be the number 1 seed when you arrive to that, or that starting quarterback when you go to new school. So, but other than that, the life experiences, the ability to be able to connect with other people once they go to college, because I've lived in that state too, or I've been to that area. It's amazing, just the broadening. I think that kids experience too as military, and it gets in their blood. I think even as they grow, it's almost what we've seen from ours. It's almost like they're fearful of having to stay in the same place all the time instead of moving. It really gets in their blood for that move every 2 to 4 years of a new location, a new adventure. So we kind of already anticipate that being maybe some of the questions that spouses might have.
And like I said, the kids are very resilient. My kids fight about who's the bigger Army brat.
That's good.
So this is an event that's coming up on September 2nd. It's going to kick off super early in the morning. Well, not super early, but around PT time. PT time. What time is that for our civilian folks that don't?
Yeah, great question. So 6:30. The formation, show time was probably like 6:15, and then and so they'll even be able to experience just what a morning takes place with hearing the cannon fire in the morning, and everyone's going to the position of salute. The Soldier's Creed that you heard just a little bit ago, that's a battle rhythm piece of every morning for all formations here. They'll hear the Soldier's Creed stated too as well. And so then, and PT will go till approximately like 7:30, maybe 7:45 at the longest. And then we'll have a transitional time frame before we go to Liberty Chapel for the next part.
Great. So, sir, can you tell us how those that are interested, how they might go ahead and sign up for this? How do they get in contact with your office? Who's the point of contact?
Chaplain Cargill, his email, and I know definitely directly for yourself, Chaplain McCraney. On that flyer, we have our information on there for you to be able to directly contact us through email, and we will then continue to not only have your name on the roster for participating, but also keep your email contact with the distribution list for any updates we have as we get closer to it. We'll distribute that information to you and be there to help answer questions that you might have towards traveling needs, just what to expect for that day, and maybe even some options of where to stay that would be convenient if you're traveling here from a good distance to be able to connect.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. That's great information about the event coming up. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to have a time of question and answer. So we'll talk a little bit. I know that some of our folks have had some specific questions about their individual situation. We won't get into too much of that. We'll talk about kind of the sort of the broader strokes of Chaplain Corps, questions like that. So if you all have any questions, please go ahead and type them in, and we'll get to as many of these as possible. Start off with an easy one from Jason, and you know Jason. How is the mountain bike course coming along, and how is your cornhole game coming along?
Hey, the mountain bike course here at Clarksville. If you happen to come, bring your mountain bike, and maybe we'll get a ride in. But great place called North Ford, and it's phenomenal, very active park. Every time my son and I go right out there, they have new things that are out there in that part of the single track trails at North Ford. So what was the second part of that question?
Cornhole. How is your cornhole game coming along?
Oh, now I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he destroyed me. I think he's in a league. That's Jason Domingo. He totally destroyed me in my backyard playing cornhole. He had some pretty amazing skills. But we have been working at the game. And Jason, if you get a chance to come, I'll try to take you on again and see if I could try to hang with you next time.
Wow, I mean that takes some bravery, calling out the senior chaplain, Jason. Let's see what you're doing there. So got another question here. What are some specific tasks when a chaplain is given an assignment? What are the greatest needs of soldiers?
Yeah, I think right now there's a huge need for stability with some soldiers that are struggling with personal stability within their lives. It's been so substantial across the Army that certain installations like Fort Campbell, we've even established, the Command General established a day called Eagle Day, and it's focused specifically for that. So it's given our youth ministry teams a great platform to be even more involved. We have a huge initiative called Spiritual Readiness Assessment that has a product called Protecting the Tribe. Chaplain Leach is the author of it, and really the primary developer behind this. And it has really elevated, I think, the overall efforts towards helping out with soldier stability, expanding ministry efforts too as well, and just open up opportunities to be able to help them out, not only on the stability level wise, but I think with spiritual growth wise too as well. So that definitely probably the biggest need. And any company level event, we really encourage youth ministry teams to lead company level events, even if it's like a chaplain's PT event. I think that's leads towards substantial ministry opportunities for them to be involved in. Whatever the company they choose to do let's say a chaplain's run event with them, for them, I guarantee, and I've seen this in my past, they'll have more conversation and involvement from that company over the next 2 weeks than anyone else. It really just builds substantial bridges of ministry opportunities for them when they help out in that kind of way. So I think it's probably the greatest current need that youth ministry teams be incorporated within their organization right now.
So I got another question here for you. So what do you say to someone that has a passion for God and a passion for people, but they don't exactly know how the chaplaincy works? Right? What would you say to them?
I would say that definitely the orientation or introduction to Army Chaplain Experience Day on 2 September is a perfect way for you to be able to see if this is where the Lord wants you. There's no requirements. We will have a chaplain recruiter here with us at the very end to be able to help explain, okay, this is where you're at, which is really important, where the chaplain recruiter comes in, be able to hear exactly where you're at with your schooling process, what you have done. And he could clearly lay it out with the current requirements. This is what you have to do in order to be able to step foot on active duty. Seems like, I remember going through myself, seems like a lot up front when you look at kind of lay it all out. but you just, of course, just meet each benchmark along the way and each requirement. And next thing you know, you might receive that great phone call of where you're going for that first active duty assignment. And but I think it's, it's amazing how many chaplains I've spoken to here about how it's very similar, just like it was for me, that one-on-one conversation with someone that was introducing the chaplaincy to them. I think a large percentage of our chaplains have been brought into the ministry, into the chaplaincy, and that through that type of process or that type of conversation. So that's why I really wanted for this. I think it's great. That opportunity is going to be open on that 2nd September day for anyone that's here attending, to be able to hear more about it and maybe help even, just clear up some of the myths that might exist also towards serving as an Army chaplain that could be out there too as well, and have it clear. Yeah, I completely understand. Before you commit or before you want to take that substantial step, apply yourself in that certain area, you want to make sure there's a clear understanding for everyone before you apply yourself in that kind of way.
So we got another, I'm glad you mentioned that our recruiting team will be down there to talk about the process. A lot of that has stayed the same over the years, but a lot of it is changing. There's always some tweaking of the system and what everybody's looking for. So we'll be there to answer some questions as well. And we'll try to answer those questions before getting on the tower and, falling or anything.
Right. Blair, no falling.
Oh, they'll be fine. It's me I'm worried about. I'm not the most. Which I'm airborne too, and same thing. All my jumps are night jumps. My eyes are closed. Yeah. So I'm out the door.
That's good.
So what are the greatest challenges coming from the enlisted side to becoming a chaplain? So let me kind of break that down real quick for our people that are watching. We have a lot of people who come to the Chaplain Corps kind of straight off the street, so to speak, straight from the pastorate, from the parish, that no experience with the military, and they come straight in as officers and become chaplains for their first assignment. We also have those folks that come in from the enlisted side, who they enlisted in the Army, they got out, went to college, went to seminary, and now they're trying to come back in. So from your perspective and what you've seen over the years, what are some of the greatest challenges that those folks from the enlisted side coming over to the Chaplain Corps have?
Yeah, for them, it's an incredible platform for them to be able to build their ministry plan on. They have so much experience and understanding of the Army context environment already. Utilizing the tuition assistance for them to work on their degree. It's a huge benefit for them too as well, to be able to really help out with the cost factor with paying for that schooling. And I've known quite a few chaplains that have gone that same route from prior service. And a large percentage, we actually did this once. We had a Fort Campbell chaplain who was visiting us at the 82nd, and he wanted to know the percentage of our chaplains that were prior service. And especially more so within the airborne community, because probably, like you stated, if they were prior service and if they were airborne qualified, they became a chaplain. Guess where they're going? Probably for their first assignment to the 82nd. And so we had a very high percentage. It was about 72% were prior service of all of our chaplains there at the 82nd because of that. But I think for even here at Campbell, it's a very high percentage that are prior service. And I think a lot of that does come, twofold. One, they know the environment, they really appreciate it. And then two, they feel the call to ministry and they want to serve that capacity. I'm actually meeting with an individual this afternoon. He's a chief warrant officer that is wanting to take steps towards Army chaplaincy. And so it's, I think it's kind of twofold. And that's the great part about it and how the Lord works in our life. We hear that calling, you hear him guiding us in a certain direction. And it's crystal clear with hearing his guidance and direction, and it's up to us. It's up to us to take those steps in obedience and to be faithful to what His will is for our life. So it's great benefits when we're obedient in that kind of way and following, his plan for our life in that kind of way.
Yeah, coming from the enlisted side, they come with a lot of experiences, a lot of, like I said, a lot of schools, a lot of airborne sometimes, and in that community. So hey, just real quick, let me just say for everybody, don't worry, the tower is completely safe. That was me just being stupid. I was being silly. I know it is totally safe. Don't worry. I'm just not the most graceful person in the world, but I'll go down the tower with you guys. So, sir, thank you so much for being a part of this today, and thank you everybody who participated. We are excited about this event that's coming up here in September, and for bringing some folks on to experience what it's like to be an Army chaplain, and then to have our team down there as well to answer questions. If you are in a place where you are considering this call to ministry, please reach out to us. Reach out. You can direct message us through the Facebook apps, or through Messenger, through Instagram, however you communicate. Reach out to our team. We'd be happy to talk to you about that call to ministry and what it takes to be a chaplain in the United States Army. Sir, we thank you so much for being a part of this today. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and letting them experience the singing in the background, which is really cool. I'm glad you did that. That is very much a part of the Army culture, and it's great for everybody to see that. Thank you so much for your ministry and for your leadership. I'm going to turn it over to you and ask you, if there's any closing remarks that you have, and then also at the end, if you wouldn't mind praying for our people that are considering this call to ministry, we'd greatly appreciate it.
It'd be my pleasure. Yeah, thanks again very much, Chaplain Craney, for this opportunity. It's been awesome to be a part of. Like I said at the beginning, this ministry, serving as an Army chaplain, has been incredible for us. Our whole family, we've greatly enjoyed it, and the opportunity to be able to minister to soldiers and families. All the locations we've been has been just, it's hard to put to words, but how much it has meant to us, meant to me, and so neat to be a part of. This location, Fort Campbell, like you're saying too as well, one other thing I want to emphasize for those that are contemplating coming, we have an incredible number of unit ministry teams here. I've been so impressed with how active they are in their positions. So not just hearing from me or from hearing from our senior leaders, but for you to be able to hear from our captain, our battalion level leadership, our chaplains, religious affairs specialists, and what they're doing. They will really provide you and paint a great picture of what it would be like for you. I've been extremely impressed through this past year of seeing how much they do on a regular basis. So you'll gain a lot. You'll gain a lot from hearing from them too as well. And you will have plenty of opportunities to be able to hear directly from them. That large number 62, we'll have a large portion of them connected to that event on the 2nd of September. And so thanks again. It worked out really. I think there's 2 active classes here at Air Assault School right now. Like I said, one of our chaplains, Chaplain Corps, is going through this current class, hanging in there well, I'm sure. And but I'll conclude in prayer right now for our time together, and look forward to hopefully be able to meet many of you all face to face on the 2nd of September, and have great time together, answering some questions, and hopefully leading you in this direction if the Lord's calling you to Army chaplaincy. All right, let's pray. Lord, so thanks for this morning and this opportunity, Lord, to be connected through this webinar in this kind of way to hopefully maybe help others be able to answer that calling and seek your direction for their life in this unique ministry of serving as an Army chaplain. Lord, the Army context, environment, and the soldiers that maybe are even behind this during this time frame, many of them need a chaplain that's committed to their life, to their focus to serving you, to bring your presence and bring your love to their life, to where they're at. And Lord, I pray that several would answer that calling and be a part of your plan for their life to serve as an Army chaplain. We pray for the continued plans for the 2nd of September for that event. They'll be here at Fort Campbell, and help simplify some of the challenges of traveling that some might have. And it would just be a great orientation, develop an understanding for the ministry, this unique ministry that you're calling many of us to. And we pray these things. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for being a part of this. To all those that are listening and watching on Facebook Live, feel free to reach out to us with any questions that you have, whether about the Army chaplaincy or about the Army Chaplain Experience Day on the 2nd of September. We'll be glad to help you in any way we can. So take care and God bless.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate it.